A better second day for India at the Oval, but it's very much advantage England at the end of it. A massive lead of 237, 3 wickets in hand. Joe Root batting on 92. It could well stretch close to 300, and then India face the task of batting at least 4 or 5 sessions to save the game. Joining me, Ali Martin of The Sun. Ali, at the end of that final day at Lord's, especially the way they collapsed after lunch, you wouldn't really have seen this happening, would you, in this turnaround?
No, things were pretty much spiralling in a really negative way for England. We had former captains calling for Alistair Cook to step aside, some questions as to whether he should take a full break from cricket, up till England's test matches in April, and concentrate on his batting and his opening, which was obviously suffering. And I think a couple of things have happened since then, which have kind of just tipped things back in England's favour. I think Ravi Jadeja's drop of Alistair Cook on 15 at Southampton, which obviously went on to make 95 and really gave the side some impetus. The team really feeds off Cook as an opener and feeds off his runs in that respect. And also I think the Ravi Jadeja James Anderson incident at Trent Bridge, which came to a head obviously with the hearing after Southampton, and England probably, that gave them something to rally against, and gave them something to really fire them up, fighting for their captain, fighting for a bit of what they saw as would have been justice in that incident at Trent Bridge as well. And that's kind of sort of pulled the team together, and the results have been astounding. Although I'd have to say India's collapse since Lord's has played a huge part in it as well.
You spoke of how England have rebounded. A big part of that has been the performance of the young players. Jos Buttler's come in, looked at home straight away. His keeping needs a bit of work, but he looks apart with the bat. Joe Root's made runs all summer. Gary Ballance obviously is the highest scorer in the series. It was interesting that Ballance said today at the press conference that he doesn't want to tempt fate by saying he feels at home in international cricket. How much of a guide do you think this series has been, though, in terms of whether these guys can last the course?
Well, there are certainly tougher tests ahead of them. No disrespect to India's attack, but when you talk about the likes of Australia, South Africa, we know that they are better bowling attacks. So there are tougher tests to come. But having said that, there is huge pressure on England this summer, given the winter they had. And to see guys like you mentioned, Gary Ballance, he's averaging 70 this summer with the bat in Test cricket. Joe Root, who had a rotten time in Australia, and now he's pretty much on the cusp of a third Test century this summer. Okay, some of it's against Stuart Binney and the likes of him, but we're seeing it on the top level stage, and with the microscope firmly on England this summer, following that winter, and it's great to see the young guys performing in that respect.
Yeah, the winter was crucial, wasn't it? Because we've seen in the past, not just defeats in Australia, home matches defeats can end careers. You think back to 2001, guys like Usman Afzal, Ian Ward. There were a lot of guys who came in, crumbled under the pressure of an Ashes series and never made it back. So the way Root has come back, it suggests that he has what it takes to maybe go on and build a significant career.
You think so, yeah. He's been tipped for greatness for a long time. England have also got half an eye on him for the captaincy down the line. He's had a bit of Lions experience in that respect. It's interesting that he's almost a senior player these days. We had Gary Ballance tonight talking about how Joe sort of showed him the way in Test cricket. Obviously they're Yorkshire teammates. But Joe, having made his debut in 2012 against India in Nagpur and had such a bumper start to his career, he's a great guy to sort of pick the brains of, isn't he? And for someone like Ballance, he started his career, like a bit of a train in Test cricket. It's not uncommon to see, of course, a lot of these guys. It's normally when it's the second cycle of international cricket, when teams come up against them for that second time, maybe have worked out a couple of bits and bobs, is when we truly find out how good a player is. But it's really encouraging to see. In Southampton we saw 6 England players winning their first Test match for England. It's pretty special in itself. I hope they all got a stump each.
Do you think they might have been tested more if Ashwin had played the full series? Because what we saw today, he certainly offered more of a wicket-taking threat than Jadeja had all series.
He did. He's a proper off-spinner, isn't he? Ravi Jadeja feels like a guy he's very good in one-day cricket, and look, I'm actually a big fan of Jadeja. I think he's a really worthy cricketer and a very good all-round package. But Ashwin is also a very all-round package, and his bowling, he's just got that extra something about him. That said, now you'll probably have to remind me of this stat or refresh my memory. It was his first international wicket today away from India in 2 years. Is that correct? Yeah,
but they haven't played much away.
They haven't played much away from home either. He's a decent threat, Ravi Ashwin. I still think that he's lacking the drift. Some of the Sky commentators were picking up on it during the match as well today. Is that, you know, you look at the real top level off spinners, the revs they give the ball, it just gets that drift, and especially against the left-handers coming into the pads and moving away. That said, the ball to get Moeen Ali really bamboozled him, didn't it? It was, he was trying to leave it and clipped the bat and went onto the stumps.
Final question, given where India's confidence or lack of it is right now with the bat, can you see this going into a fourth day?
I can see it going to a fourth day, perhaps in terms of weather may play a part. Also England, I mean, they're now going to want to bat once. Chris Jordan and Stuart Broad still to come as well. Jimmy's no mug either, we've seen with the bat. So with Root still there, England could bat. They could bat beyond lunch tomorrow, and I'd hope to see from India a bit more fight than we've seen, certainly at Old Trafford. But having said that, the last 4 innings they've not got past 180, and the lead is already past 230 at the moment. So, you know, I'd say that in terms of a fourth day, the ball is actually in India's court because they've got to show more fight. They've got to try and do what MS Dhoni did on day one here.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Hurley. That's it from us on the second day at the Oval. Join us for day 3. Hopefully the weather will stay clear and we'll get 90 overs of play in. Thank you.